What's good, y'all? What y'all giving?
We back. We've been going for a minute. I'm back with your
Here we go. I don't really know. I don't really know. Season 3.
Welcome back to another episode, to the jump off of the new season of season 3 of Femme Queen Crazy.
Sexy.
Cool.
Can we take a? I need a step. Y'all ready to take a?
Let's pop it off.
I need a little tap.
I guess I can drink again.
Oh, you're done? After 85 shows.
Okay.
After 85.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So let's toast to the success that we've all been doing.
Yes.
Individually and collectively. I'm good in any hood, but I get further with my sisterhood.
Oh, she got a new one.
She got a new one. Wait. So is this? So are we taking a sip to the summer? Cause was y'all summer fab? Well, your summer was amazing.
Did you even have a summer? Poor baby.
Well, it's still an experience though.
It
was amazing. Like the whole. Oh my God. We gonna
Speaking
get
of
into
that,
that.
we got some cats in the building.
Shout out to the cats. Shout out to the cats.
I was really
Shout out to the
back,
cats.
and I wanted to start the season off with bringing my lady some gifts.
Oh.
So this
Oh,
is
she won that
for you.
5K this thing. She spent it.
Oh, here we go.
She spent
Here
it.
we go.
Oh, she brought me something for the body.
Oh, you gonna take it out and everything.
Wait, you
Probably
buying
fucked
up
your
more
shot.
see-through stuff?
Yes.
Asia's very sexy with it. I just
Yes.
wanted to make sure that I kept the tradition.
This is giving very Bob.
Yeah.
Very Bob.
And you, I know you love your things.
Oh, she's
so,
got-
yeah.
Oh, she gave us some hormones. She said, "Baby, I need to give you the look." She said,
You're gonna be caught.
"I want you to get. I need you to
You're
get
gonna be
caught."
caught. Oh, I'm really gonna.
Ooh.
I'm
Really?
some fresh ones.
Yeah,
Oh, that was
I got
nice. That was so
yeah.
thoughtful. Says thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, you're sexy all the time. Her hands and her fingers, nails always look so good. So I was like, you know what? In case she's just having, like, a day, but she got to run out real quick. I got you some custom.
She basically threw it. She basically threw a shade on the love.
Why you gotta be shady?
She said her nails never be done.
They do be
My
done.
hands are always done.
I said no, see, I did not
I'm
say
kidding,
that.
I'm kidding,
And y'all
I'm
heard me
kidding,
say
bro.
that her nails is always done, but if she's ever on the run, I think it's great that she can always put some bucks on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a whole lot at home. This goes with my collection. Thank you.
Oh, that was cute.
Say that.
I look like the cat. No, I'm just kidding. Let me stop because they always think I'm fierce. I'm gonna be very mindful and demure this season.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was on time. Very demure.
Here we
Because
go.
one time, bitch. Oh, take it back.
Yeah.
That bitch that was in the comments that said, no, you know what? I ain't gonna even address it.
Yeah, we're not gonna be doing that. They don't get none of that energy like that.
No.
They be having me hemmed up sometimes. I'm like, wait a
You be
minute,
back and
bitch.
forth. This- I be saying that. I'm not responsible.
And then she call you after the fact. Oh my God, she call you after the fact. She's for the fuck.
I'm going especially just to see if this was coming back.
But they want engagement. I think it's okay to engage.
I'm good. Accept me as I am. Take me as I am.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, I'm
Because
definitely
one
okay.
don't like the next person's
Yeah.
breath, so. And bitch, I can only be me. And bitch, if it bothered you so bad, why are you still watching?
And since you're watching, I think it's a good time to announce we exceeded the 5K mark.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's like thank you all for subscribing to the channel with us. Like continue to click like and subscribe. Get your friends on. Shouts to Germany.
Yeah, shout out to where was I at? Sweden. Shout out to the Sweden girls.
Yeah.
Sweetest fish.
And shouts to the cats.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Can we talk about the summer? Like, what was it giving for y'all, please? What was y'all summer like?
Well, my summer, I was on stage. We thought it was just going to go to July 14th, and then we were extended twice.
Woo!
It was the show of the summer. It was amazing. It was like, bitch, it was nothing that, I didn't really know what to expect, but that definitely exceeded my expectations. It was just amazing. I mean, we were selling out like hotcakes. Anytime we put up a new extension, you went back to them tickets. It was giving, bitch. We almost sold out. You better go ahead and get your tickets. And, hopefully, I don't think that that's the end of it, but I couldn't ask for anything more. I had an amazing cast. I had an amazing experience. The audience was just like, we would get standing ovations, and then walking out of our dressing room, coming into the lobby, we would get another standing ovation, and people would just tell you how much it touched them, and that touched me, that people were touched in such a way. So I had a great summer.
I had a good time there, though. Like, watching that up front, for me, I was blown away with the creativity of how, how you guys changed little parts of it. And also just, I was boo-hoo crying at a point. So, especially when you started singing, I was like, oh yeah. I couldn't even, I was like, this is embarrassing.
Yo, she really was acting like that too. She was like, sis.
Yo, Tabytha came like about 3 or 4 times.
She joined
Yo, but it was so good. It's like you want to come back and see it. Like, I loved every little piece about it. Like, and you're right, like every time I went, it was a different experience. I got to see something that I didn't see before. And I was like, oh wow, I missed that part before. And then just being there and actively seeing that the music is not playing. Y'all are singing.
Yeah.
Like when you can hear the voices over the microphone, I'm like, wow. So it just goes to speak to the talent of our culture and how versatile and how our stories intersect with so many different things and so many things that other people experience as well. And it was just like being there, seeing you come out. I first went with the house, and the whole house came. Shouts to the house, and they saw Marjala. And it was amazing just to see our queen out there like that, standing in your talent, doing what you do. When me and Asia went, I should have just bought a box of tissue because Asia was like a crying mess. It was so good to see you like
Most
that.
people who know me. I mean, everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so in tears and stuff. It was great to even be able to live out my dreams and then celebrate ballroom too. Like, it was just
That's
the
what
perfect,
really touched me.
Yes,
And
it
with
was
the
the
swing job.
perfect.
No,
match.
just seeing so many people that you get to be a part of in ballroom, like different faces. There was a lot of people I saw in, I know in ballroom on stage and just being so creative, out loud, and just, it was so beautiful to watch. It was inspiring.
For our story to be told and then us to be a part of it, it's amazing. Because sometimes, it's like, where we at?
And that much is true. That much is true. And you can tell that it was invested in us and our stories because you can feel the essence of ballroom. It was almost like this energy. People who may not have ever had an experience of ballroom, they knew when the crash was coming. They knew when that dip, they was hanging on it. It felt like you was really at a ball. So yeah,
I
enjoyed it.
How was Germany, sister?
Oh my gosh. Like, Germany was like, it was a culture shock, but it was so humbling in so many ways. Just to see how, like, we have these centralized locations where we hang out at. Like, we have our village, we have like Chelsea, we have areas in the Bronx, like in every borough, we have like a space where we all go. And we have ballroom, and it's always a ball. It's always where we could go celebrate ourselves. But over there, that's how they connect to each other. When they travel from country to country, ballroom is their Christopher Street. Ballroom is their Chelsea. So to see that and to see like some of the things that we take for granted that other people appreciate so much, and it's like that magic of ballroom, you felt it. But it was just like their respect and they want to know. Like, they really want to know and they want to experience it. the conversations about the importance of community building and, you know, encompassing multiple identities, like what does that actually look like in ballroom. To share the stage with Evie St. Laurent, shouts to her and shouts to Gio St. Laurent for actually bringing in, and all the judges who was with me. Nakia, you did your big one. Lysandra, Archie, Leo, like everything was so good. Everything was so good. Like I don't want to name names, but I'm sending love to you all. It was a great experience and I enjoyed myself. So how was Sweden?
So Sweden was, of course, it's always an experience to travel outside of the country and meet people that love who you are as a person and like love what you produce on the floor and stuff like that. So that was amazing. I loved being around. I got to share the space with Vanessa, Miyake Mugler, and Sanaya, and some other people from all over was judging as well. But it was just a good experience and just that type of way. Yeah. I'm not a Europe fan, though. I'm not a Europe fan.
You don't like Europe?
But it's.
I'm not gonna believe it there. It's not.
You know, I know.
Well, you know, because.
Was it the culture or the organizing?
So for me, when I travel and go to places, it's not just a gig for me. I look at it all in a way of an experience. Everything, and I take it in that way because I live in New York, so you know, thinking I never got to these places, I never been there before, so I look in it in a type of way, like from how I show up, how the vibe is, how the energy. So Europe is very, it's not homey vibe, it's not hospitality.
What you mean all of Europe?
Well, Sweden. I went to Sweden. I went to Paris. I went to Lyon.
You didn't like Paris?
No, I like it. It's beautiful. It's nice. It's just not homey. It's not very. It's not welcoming. It's not how you do it. Like, it's not none of that.
You've been to London?
Mm-hmm. I like London.
I like London. London was welcoming.
Yeah.
See, that makes me think. Because
yeah,
the
me too.
experience was like really welcoming.
What about Australia? Definitely welcoming. And yes.
I feel like I just feel like I don't think it's bad intentions. I think that they have different.
Some places I'm like, do they really even know the culture for real though?
No, but I don't think they even have a lot of this culture. So it's
right.
You know. So I think we naturally come with that type of energy.
But you know what is great? You know, sometimes we minimize ballroom, but look like I was traveling abroad because of ballroom.
You know my big speech. You know what I give. You know what I always say. You know what I always say.
You're heavy on that.
They be like, oh, you're only known in ballroom. It's okay, baby. Because when you're known in ballroom, a lot of times it's putting you in other spaces.
No shade. I mean,
like people are making thousands of dollars. Like I hate when people try to diminish of what ballroom is because it's actually it's amazing to me. So.
It really is just like the culture as a whole. Like it's so crazy, I'm dating myself. But I remember like when I was in ballroom, it was New York, Philly, Baltimore, DC. And then it's like, boom, it's everywhere now. It's just like this explosion.
That's a long time ago.
I said I'm dating myself.
Oh, because you did say Atlanta.
No, I didn't, my love. But it was around, but I just didn't travel to Atlanta.
So
but Atlanta was on the map too. Like, I didn't mean to leave it out. Oh.
Yeah.
So
I said for me though.
97.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna date me? You're gonna date me on here? And then we're doing that? But it was like a shock. And it is a culture shock. I was nervous as hell. I was calling Asia every day. She's right though. It is not a lot of brown folk there. And I was calling Asia because were you brown?
But you gotta take up space.
I take up space. That's why I was like, no, but that's why I noticed.
Especially like it's
there's no bonnet, no hoodie for me.
Yeah, Asia was really outside with her bonnet. Like,
no, I said I was not outside with my bonnet.
No,
I don't do bonnet.
When Asia called me when you first came before you,
I was outside. I was inside my hotel.
Outside, but
I was in a hotel.
Asia, we were sitting there without talking, and then when we went outside. Asia was like, sis, get outside, go outside, because I was just in the hotel. So, like, she forced me to go out, but I was like, girl, everywhere we went.
No, I'm seeing the streets. I'm gonna go shopping.
Everywhere you went, they were like.
It's very rich out there, though.
Yeah, a lot of
Sweden is very rich. It's a lot of money in Sweden.
But you don't feel like everybody's staring at you when you.
I don't mind you staring.
Yeah, I don't. No. I love like that type of energy. It was giving raw. You know, like it was giving like yeah, well, you see that, so you gonna see it today.
Bitch, for real.
certain days, it was like that. Certain days, I was just like, please stop staring at me.
Oh, bitch,
Because it starts to feel uncomfortable for me. Like,
I love
was
it. If
just
you're not
like,
staring, I
See,
feel like
that's
it's a
not-
problem.
you like it, you like it.
I'm
Yes.
extra over the
Stare, please.
Oh,
You need to
You
stare.
never know. 'Cause I be looking for that, you know, hey, hey, teddy bears. What's that from here?
Yeah, you outside.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
So-
we'll be traveling out there together.
Speaking of ballroom, and I hate that we're,
Ciao.
I hate that we don't film like right away a lot of times. So sometimes we miss the topic, and by the time this comes out, it might be a little dated or whatever. But recently, you had someone who was speaking. I mean, for me, and usually like I don't care, but something about that video was just so hurtful to me, and it angered me, and it made me sad, because it was like, is this how our counterparts view us and think about us? And it happens so many times. Like, I mean, this time, you know, people may feel like, okay, well, why this time? Or, you know, people have selective outrage or whatever. But I just wish that the person had really directed to whoever they were speaking with. But when they started speaking and they started addressing the whole community of trans,
The trans community.
like
right.
they were like the trans community. They were like, and those, bitch, like it wasn't just specifically to that. So it was like, because yes, sometimes the girls do say things to the counterparts as well, but that's when they're speaking directly to that person or whatever. And if they're not, then they're wrong as well. But in this situation, I felt it, and it was like, damn, oh, that's how you feel about all the girls then. And like, how do y'all feel about the gay male in the scene and how they feel towards the female figures or the trans woman?
I grew up in New York, where a bunch of us, in the time that I grew up, we all used to kind of like be together, hang together, and the girls, we basically took care of the boys. Like, we made sure these are our brothers, and we all was thrown out. So we all found community within each other. This was our family. So that day when he posted what he posted, I seen people that I call my brothers, and I very rarely call you brother. These people were saying statements on Facebook like, targeted the trans people, and I was so hurt. That moment I was crying because it bothered me, because I've always was there for you, and I expected you would be there for me and see me as who I say I am and respect that. But when I realized that was going on, it didn't really start to gag me. But when I saw the video, I don't really even care for the individual like that, but that video really kind of like broke my heart in pieces, just seeing how much hate they were spilling on the community.
Well, it was heavy, and it is a heavy conversation. And it's one that continues to raise itself after some odd time. We get to this comfortable place, and we think everything is safe, and this is why I say, when we say safe space, be mindful, because it may not always be safe to everyone. So then when we get to this level of comfortability and we feel like we're reaching like strides, it's always that constant shit that pops up and rears its head to try to dehumanize us and our existence for being who we were created to be, and having the courage to do that. So the video sent me, and for like days I was like, what do I say? But then everyone else was saying it, and I think there were a lot of girls who were in that, bitch, I want to say something. Because on the flip side, these things have been happening, and no shade to the community, but we do it to ourselves, and we keep expecting others to not do it. And this is why I mean that we have to speak to each other with kindness. What happened? We're not kind to each other.
That don't got nothing to do.
Wait a minute, I'm not finished. I'm not exonerating him, because I don't agree with what the individual did. I don't agree with any individual that feels or thinks that way about us. What I'm saying is, it's wrong, it should not happen, They should not see us that way. They should not treat us that way. The spaces that they have access to is directly off of the back of trans women. So again, when you start to want to tear down the very same thing that holds your community up, it's a disrespect. Because we have the ability to live beyond what your expectations of who the fuck we should be. And then when we do that, you want to shame us, and it's a power dynamic. You want to have control over something that you didn't even give birth to. But we could be your mommies and aunties and sisters and everything when it's beneficiary to you. But if we don't start to put our foot down and stand more together than we have ever before, especially given this current climate, people like that exist. And I don't know why the girls think that it didn't, because there are probably people that was sitting there cheering that person on, calling them and agreeing with them, and having their own conversation about, yeah, I'm so glad you said that. And there are a lot of them. Unfortunately, there are people that feel that way. But what do we do to change that narrative? Not just for ourselves, because at this point, bitch, it doesn't even matter to me what you say, because you just show who you are. But for this person to now continue to have access in a way that they can still come around, I think something needs to be done. And I don't want to make nobody out the example, but how many passes are we going to give to people who continue to do this? And then you issue an apology and it's like it's swept under the table. That is not cool. It is never okay to do that. And when you're repping something, you have to be mindful. I would never say nothing that's going to intentionally cause harm. I don't care how angry I am. And this is why accountability is so important. But for me, I think it was just so fucked up. And when I got sent the video, just thinking about the people they were talking about, whether I talked to them or not, because nobody should talk to another human being that way. That was crazy. You're calling people all types of names. You're talking about surgeries. That is just so fucked up. Y'all don't know what we go through to be outside.
Somebody on Vigo, I don't want to wish anything on anybody, but it seems like just a matter of time before someone is gonna get hurt. You cannot spew that type of energy or things and not think that karma is not gonna come back around. That place is toxic, and I understand people make their money from there or whatever, but every time, and I don't go on Bigo anymore, every time I see something, somebody sends me something, and every time it is so negative. It's how could you really prosper in life dwelling in that type of negativity? How could you constantly sit in that and your whole platform be to read or tear down the next person? I'm sorry, you may not pay for it now, but eventually you're gonna pay.
I honestly feel like a lot of times people are just projecting their drama or their lifestyles onto others. I think that's really what it is. Where a lot of us are domesticated and still aren't shaken off of what our parents were dreaming. So we're living through their dreams and what they was going through, and we pass it on to the next individual. I feel like another thing is a lot of times people, they can say sorry is because we make statements like, well, we shouldn't treat each other like that. No, you shouldn't treat like this. You're at the situation. It has nothing to do about anyone else. We're talking about what you did and that we didn't like that. And I'm loving the fact that the trans community is standing on 10 with this individual. And I even like how they did it with the other individual that made the statement. I love that too, but I think we need to.
But sometimes you'll see the trans community
do it
in the comments.
Because you know what those people are. The same statement this individual said. He literally said, "I'm normal now." And
oh my God, that's what did it for me.
Everybody who said they trans.
The fact that I could walk inside, the fact that I could walk inside the club. And here's the
trans people are humans. Every trans person is not going to be a nice femme queen. It's not going to be every femme queen. It's not going to be, you have different type of individuals. I feel like a lot of times people look at trans people like a gimmick, like a doll, you need to be this way. You need to act this way. This is what you need to be. And if you don't act this way, you don't give them respect. And I think that's when I get to see who you are.
Well, do you think
that's when I get to see who you are.
I also, it's aside from, wait a minute, aside from, for me, it's changing. I just like, for me, it's great that we come together, but like I said, this is not exonerating them, right? I can't emphasize enough when we have selective outrage. Prior to that, there was a separate incident that happened, and people swept it under the rug. And when we are attacking someone's bodily autonomy or their anatomy.
Oh, you're talking
like,
about.
I'm not talking, we're talking about situations
You're talking about at the ball, though.
Yeah, right. So when we do those things, against each other.
But I don't feel
as
like
well.
we swept it under the rug. I just feel like certain people stood up more in this time, but I definitely was in support of not doing that.
I don't think
I
it's
made
cool.
a comment
Yeah.
about it. I mean, someone made a post about it. I made a comment about it. It just depends on who feels like standing up at the time. And that actual person that it was done to said that it didn't bother them
No, it didn't.
in the moment.
Right.
I don't think that it's right, because what if he would have came back and said something, and then the girls would have been in an outrage like the SRS if he made a comment about the
Right.
sex changes, like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, like, you know. So I think that we all need to be mindful.
We need to
I'm in
talk
the
to each
middle.
other.
I'm in the
I feel as
middle.
though we need to
You
talk
in the
to.
middle, you think that was okay?
No, it's not the fact. I don't think anything's okay because that has nothing to do with me. That was a personal contact. That was a personal situation. That if me and you are having a discussion and we start arguing, there should be no people feeling no type of way when I'm saying to you. Don't project your triggers over here. Me and you are having our own situation that have nothing. I feel like a lot of times people like to
That
project.
was triggering.
Right, you need to seek help then.
No,
That have nothing. That don't have nothing to do with me and you.
If you're up there and somebody tell you ain't got no pussy, if you're walking,
And
against
if I
somebody
say
and
I
they
feel
talk
away,
about something
if
that
I
could be
say I feel away,
dysphoria,
then that's a problem. But if don't put that on me.
I don't think- I
What
think
what
that
you
we should
feel,
set
what you feel.
standards. I
I
think
think
that
we should, but I also think that we have to stop making other problems our problems. Like we take it personally that have nothing to do with you. You read the 4 agreements. What did it say? Do not take nothing personal, because a lot of times people are just
Well, then that could be
projecting
each
their own
situation.
trauma. But that was
That's
not.
why I would say that he was just specifically talking about
No,
those
he
two
literally.
individuals.
That was a clear conversation to
Well,
trans people.
How do you
So
say?
I
Let's play the
it's
video.
personal
Y'all want to
choice
roll a
to
clip?
us?
Because if
So-
you
so wait a
say
minute, so
this
here-
person don't have a, you said this person has a, that, come on, that's a personal. We're going personal. That person was
that's saying
saying
that
y'all. No, that's not. Because there's some, no, it's not.
I do want to say this, right? I don't want to, like I said, I just feel as though like I get what you're saying. If we're reading and we're arguing, what does me and you have to say to each other have to affect with the whole?
I don't
But-
think
but
we
wait,
shouldn't
wait,
read
but
anyway,
wait.
like really.
Right,
I
so
have
that's my
But
point.
I only read about I don't read about anybody's autonomy or anything like that. I don't read like their body and stuff like that. I feel like you're pressed anyway. Like I feel like that's something that you're doing really when you're pressed and you know that person next to you could really beat you, because that's when I really would be giving okay bitch, because I'm like bitch, this bitch is really turning it. No shade. Like it's like you got to be honest and feel like bitch, you got to be pressed if you start doing all of that. Like that's out of being pressed. But even still with that, if I'm walking against another girl or somebody like that, I usually don't say. Only thing I would say is something like he's acting when it comes to a butch queen, and this is my lie. You know, it would be something like that. Like, no shade.
What's the difference? Like, I feel like,
This
what's
is an
the
aesthetic.
difference?
Like,
I'm just
acting,
saying,
like,
it don't matter. You can still be hurting someone's feelings. I think we decide. We personally get to decide what someone should feel. Like, no, if this person feels away, they feel away. If they don't, they
everybody
don't.
like you want to be treated is how it
Yes,
should be boiled
and I think
down.
we should show up. I think we should
now
show
that
up.
much is true. I think
we
you
should
should
show
treat
up, yeah.
people how you want to be treated. I do understand, and I know there's an ongoing conversation about people having weak skin when it comes to competition and how we can't take a read no more, how we can't take that. My thing is, just be mindful that people are seeing that, and that may be people's introduction into our culture. And if that's the first thing they're seeing is us tearing each other down, then they feel as though it's permissible there. So I'm going to be able to talk to them like that. And when they do, when we want to hold them accountable, it give girl, what y'all do it. You know what I'm saying? So for me,
But
I'm
that's
just thinking
like
of a genuine.
right.
I just feel like they be
Each other.
wanting leaders to not lead. Like, y'all have leaders in positions for what? They need to be teaching that's not okay. The judges need to do their job. No one's doing their job. Everyone's sitting on the sideline like, well, no, this shouldn't happen. It's gonna happen. That's an angry bitch. That's an angry individual. She's gonna be angry at the panel. Teach her, show her the way. You said you was her gay mother, right? Why are you complaining on the sideline? Say what you gotta say to that individual. Teach them and show them the way. I feel like we are putting people in positions that they don't know how to do. Like, these are not for them.
You know what? I'll say that that's my question, because I can't think of no questions, but I'll talk about it.
Well, that, I mean.
And another thing, I feel like when it comes to that video, I feel like we have to, shout out to the new generation. Shout out to the new community, because those individuals are standing on 10. I saw so many girls, I'm not going to this, cancel it, I'm not going to this person's event. They have an event coming up, and they were all blacklisting the event, and it was so beautiful to see that. And that's what we should be celebrating.
And that's what I was going to say. That's the thought I was going to say. Some of us will it's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. Some of us will cut each other up just for the proximity of being accepted by the oppressor, or heteronormative like ways of thinking, that we will tear each other apart just so we can have proximity and feel accepted.
Deflect.
And then we start to project those same behaviors on our community. For me, I say this to you, watching, if you and your values align with that of the oppressor, and because you feel as though you have proximity to them and you can do whatever you feel you need to do, but you start doing that against your own, you're only cutting off your nose to spite your face. The same people who you talk about will be the same people you need one day.
Okay.
And I feel like
and
it's
that
also
could be,
people's backgrounds too. Like, we come from a lot of different backgrounds, and some people, you never know what they were taught.
You never know. Exactly.
They're coming here, and you think they're supposed to act in one way because that's what you was taught, but some of those people are not taught that. So I think that everything is a learning experience. And
we hope you learn from this.
But since we can have another.
You were talking about the judges panel. I remember you brought up something, and you said, well, I'm not going to say what you said, but I'll say what the topic is, and you can speak on how you feel about it. And that's what the judges panel and having a certain type of etiquette, what you would say.
I think,
and how you think that they should respond to things or whatever.
I just think that, like, people have to be mindful when you're recording, right? Like I said, visually, people get introduced to ballroom by what they're seeing. Some people are not hearing the stage. Some people are watching from all over, and they hear who's doing what while cameras are rolling. So if someone is coming down, and I like this person, that's my bitch, and you're like, yes, come on, we all want it, and that influences the panel. Like, because if I didn't catch something, but because you're going up, I'm gonna look over there because you're going up. And now it may deter me from what I was originally seeing. We have to be mindful on our behaviors behind those cameras, and while we're on that panel, people hear those things. And even after, I know, like myself, many people go back and review the tapes, especially if you're a competitor. You want to see what you've done different. You want to see what you did. And you can actively hear people screaming for people so they can influence the panel on who's chewing it. And I don't like shit like that.
Somebody who's on the panel, you mean?
Or somebody that's on the panel, somebody who's behind the panel recording. Like, the recorder.
that was a personal shot.
Are you saying
that was a personal shot?
No, I mean, listen, we all know that people have been talking about people who do that. I'm not saying names. What I'm saying is, you should not do that. Right? That is not okay. Because then when we see each other, we pretend to see each other. You get it? Hey, how you doing? But then when the camera is rolling and the people who are competing, we don't hear what y'all saying. But the camera can.
So that's the difference. So
it's the etiquette.
The people behind the camera or
it's
people
both.
on the judges panel?
It's both.
Okay,
like, how many times has someone
like
walking and you see a judge like this? Like, how many times, like, people pay money, people come to put on a show, not to be sitting there and you screaming and yelling at the top of your lungs like that. And, like, come on, the camera is rolling. You couldn't even hear productions because we heard your voice.
I feel like, so, because I've been in the situation before where I did feel slighted, where a icon that people looked up to stood up and was like, Tempress is sitting, but this bitch, you know, or something, you know, to that matter. And I was like, bitch, like, you know, you influence, even though I still won, I'm like, you know, you influence, you know, other people who don't have their own mind. But I've also been in a situation where a child was turning it so much that I stood up and said, work, bitch. Now, I can't control that part, but I can control when I'm judging not to be like, this person deserves it, or something like that. But if you get me up off my feet, you get me up off my feet.
Right.
Like, so I cannot say that, but I'm not going to do the extras. But if you get me up off my feet, then you get me up off my feet. But there should be a type of etiquette on the panel where you should not be on your phone. You definitely should be paying attention to who's walking. You shouldn't try to influence anybody else on the panel. Because what we do see and what is so interesting to me is all these 5 people vote for this person, and then these 3 people vote for this person. And it's like, bitch, well, how all of these people thought this one thing, and then all of a sudden, it's something going on. Somebody's talking, or you're voting for your friend, or you're voting for whoever this person is next to you's person in their house, because you don't want to bother, you know. Like, it's just kind of crazy how the panel works these days.
It's a shitty place.
I
feel like the panel is a very shitty place.
I mean, well, you were sitting behind, so you got.
You talking about a specific certain situation?
I'm talking about. Okay, so let me take it to the situation. Let's take it to the 5K, right?
Okay.
I have a story that I had told people that I would tell that a lot of people don't know. Right, so when I got to the ball, I was trying to put everything together, and I stood upstairs so nobody would see me. And as I'm putting everything together, I realized that I left a very important piece to my production home, which was my dress. And I started to panic. And people knew that I was panicking because I was like reacting. And this is the story that people don't tell, but this is why I say it's so important how we treat each other and how we act with one another behind the camera, on the panel, in community, wherever we see each other. These people gave me clothes off of their back. So the look that everybody saw me in was not the look that I had, but that's because people came. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I came and gave each and every person that gave me something to walk for that category. But in that moment, I felt ballroom show up. And when we say that ballroom doesn't show up, in that 1 minute, ballroom show up, but as I'm walking, I'm seeing these things, and it's taking away from my moment.
You're seeing what?
Like I'm seeing, right? Like people are like intentionally screaming and doing stuff behind
for their person.
Yeah, no, not for
I was screaming for you behind the video.
No,
yeah, I don't.
No,
see,
I'm not. No,
I think
I'm
we
not.
can't.
Listen, I'm not saying the cheering. You just was saying what I'm saying when they tried to sway the judges.
Now, okay,
so
let's get
I
specific.
don't like that. Wait, no.
There is something that we constantly hear now behind the panel of media. Is that what you're
Okay, so
well,
can we?
I'm not saying no names, but I'm saying is this. First of all, before I go to that story, just thank you to the people who showed up for me when I was losing my shit upstairs. Thank you to the House of Maid San Margella for being there and helping me put everything together so I can get out there and put on this show. Because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring the category to life, and I did that. Unfortunately, when I went back and watched the tape, I started to hear a specific person screaming for the opponents before I walked out. There were things that were said. Microphones have power to sway. So when you're saying things like, yes, right. So when you hear someone saying, oh, it's a Banshee set before I even hit the floor, you can't do that. Right? That happened. Then the mic got turned down low. Then the production wouldn't work.
Make a video.
Y'all want etiquette from people that don't have etiquette. Like you want people to cross their.
So aside from all of that, when you go back and watch the clip, you can clearly see what's going on because I'm watching myself. I'm seeing how I battle. I'm seeing what happened. And I saw the vote, and I saw all of that. Sometimes I think, a lot of shit is mixy, but I don't get into the mixy shit. But when you're sitting there and you're influencing the panel, and you have the power to influence that panel, bitch, mind your fucking mouth and mind your manners behind you, because that shit is not cool, because we're spending our money to put on the show.
That's why I was doing it in return. So yeah.
I feel like, I'm sorry, I need to speak. So I do not like the fact that we forget about the person that holds all the keys to these type of situations, and I feel like that is the promoter, the person that is running the ball. I'm gonna cheer for if I'm a fan, I'm cheering for my bitch. Like, I'm going crazy for you. I don't care. It's for the promoter to make sure that you're not standing behind the panel. It's for the promoter to make sure that you're not on your phone, you're not doing little things, and this is what your job is to do. But I think we don't take things seriously. We get upset at the panel. They got hired to do that. I mean, they got hired to judge. Absolutely. They didn't ask to be there. The promoter called them out. So why are we not taking out frustration or conversations to the person that actually started the situation, what's going on? Because they're allowing, how did them people get behind the panel?
See, and when you look at that, and that's what I mean,
we're expecting animals to not be animals. A person is going. Anyone, everyone is not, everyone doesn't drink like this. Everyone doesn't drink like this. Everyone don't cross their legs. Everyone is not demure. So, at the end of the day, you can expect people to be who they're not, but what you could expect is if I hire you to sit on my panel, you're going to act this way, or you can get up and move.
So,
but that goes back to accountability. What I was saying, we always say this thing in ballroom before we move forward, and it just grinds my gears when I hear people say that. And it's like a calm way of saying it to avoid accountability. We'll say things like, "Oh, girl, that's just ballroom."
No. Some things are ballroom.
But my thing is, if it's wrong, then why is it ballroom?
But if you're worried about things that
happen,
if you're worried,
it's very demonic.
That's why.
No, I'm not talking. I'm talking about no. When somebody treats someone wrong, and we knowingly know that that's wrong,
and she just said,
and we'll be like, "Oh, that's wrong." I'm not talking about in the bar. I'm talking about in our everyday dealings. How many Facebook posts we see that are negative? It's sometimes a constant thing. And my thing is,
everyone is not at Marsha P. Johnson. Everyone is not everyone is not Marsha. And when I say that, and I'm saying that.
Johnson to be a decent
no, you do.
Being.
No. But the reason I'm saying
follow that person.
No, I'm saying that. Shout out to Marsha. I love you. I'm honestly saying I'm saying that, and I'm saying that. No. I'm saying that because I feel like we believe that people are supposed to act a certain way because they're an adult. These people don't even wash their ass correctly. Yeah. So why the hell is you expecting them to be nice and be pleasant to everyone? I think what you need to do is say, you stand up and you be an example and say, I'm not going to allow this. Because you are a leader in ballroom. I think we have to start stating, if you feel away, then you act. Show an example. Show up. Those people that complain about categories, show me how it's done.
Quick question real quick before we bring on the Jellicle cats from the Jellicle cats. Since you speak up, you're the leader in ballroom, and you are a leader in ballroom, what do you think that you bring to your house as a leader? What do you feel your role is? Not a title or anything like that, but what do you feel that people know about Tabytha that she brings to the house of Mason Rochella, or to ballroom, period?
Well, I can say that the name or the moniker that I have for myself is Auntie Taby. What I bring to the house is loyalty. What I bring to the house is commitment to the members of the house and to my family, and to represent them in all aspects of what I'm doing. And when I say my house, what my leadership in the house of Mason Margella, I was getting ready to say the other house, but the house of Revlon. Prior to me coming to...
But you ain't been in the house of Revlon in a couple of years. How you
because it was getting ready to slip out.
Bitch, you want to go back?
Here she go.
Because, bitch, you brought that up before, bitch.
I love you, Mom. I'm not going nowhere. I promise you. Why would I? I mean, I love my house. But what I say is just what I bring to them is a continuity of someone who constantly will show up for the house and will show up for its members, regardless, good, bad, or indifferent. I see to the goal of it, and I'm able to execute. And when I don't know, I ask, because this is not something that I created. The same way when people in community reach out to me, my ask is, what do you need me to do? Whenever you ask me to do something, I always say, what do you need me to do? You say it and I execute it. So what I do is I represent my house and my leadership by making sure that we are culturally competent and aware of how we should move as a house. What I do is provide opportunities for growth in our house, and what I do is give to the house. That check-in call, I know people get annoyed with it, but I'm the girl that's going to check in and ask if you are right, because it's not just about when you on the floor for me, it's about your livelihood and that you thrive after the ball, that you know how to show up for yourself in spite of the challenges that life and ballroom present. I really love the house of Maison Margiela. The men treat me with so much respect, and the sisterhood, good, bad, or indifferent, bitch, we love each other.
What
Like,
you mean?
What?
What do you mean good, bad, or indifferent?
Because we always on the grid.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We always on the grid. Let's not act.
It's
So
inside tea.
no, but here's the thing.
No, you said
It's
your
not
name,
always
but-
kumbaya, so let's not pretend that it's
not
just
nowhere gonna
kumbaya.
be kumbaya.
Yeah. So good, bad, or indifference. Like I
Yeah,
love
but
the
you know
house
the
of
men treat me
Maison
good,
Margiela.
and then you say the sisterhood good, bad, or ugly, bitch. What?
Yeah. Good, bad, or indifferent. Bitch, what happened? I said it.
Let me shut up.
Yeah.
Asia,
What?
what do you feel like, when you're in a house, what do you feel like you bring to a house?
I bring eyes. That's the first thing I bring. I bring someone that's raw. I'm very honest. I'm a competitor, so I expect anyone that's under the leadership that I'm in to bring it the same within ballroom. I don't look in a way of, I don't do what my sister does as far as like that type of aspect, but on the floor, I'm always going to show you the way and how to be who you are as an individual. And I think that's what we miss in ballroom, and that's what I love to bring, like, that rawness, unfiltered.
And you know what I love about that? That you said that. Because earlier you said people take leadership and you give a leadership to the wrong people. You know exactly what you bring. I know exactly what I bring. You know exactly what you bring. And we should be able to hold space and be able to bring those things to our house, not just to our house, but to the people around us. And me, honestly, like, even when I'm losing my shit, you do show up for me in that way. Like, on the floor. You're like, sis, this, and that. 10% of them is on me, so I know.
Because look what happened. You was upset. The people needed to see that. And look where you got that 5K.
Because, to be honest, when I got off the phone with my mom,
because that dress would
have
have played.
I'm not going to let
the
them
dress
down.
would have played.
I was like, I'm not going to let them
like,
down. I'm not going to let them down. And when I was in the back and Jack called you out, I said, oh, baby, game time. Like, because I knew that I came to put on the show and you were in the building, and I wanted to make sure that the house saw, collectively us come together and be able to put on the show, and we did. And we won the 5K, so yeah.
That's what's up.
That's a cute question. I have a good, that makes it a good topic.
Oh, you got another topic?
I think about it later.
I just came off with a run of an amazing show, Cats, the Jellicle Ball. Let me leave the tequila alone. The Jellicle Ball.
Don
We have
Julio.
a few of the cats that are also a part of Ballroom that is going to come and sit with us. So we will be back with the cast of Cats. Oh my gosh, we're back with my fam. We got the Tornado Primo, Danielle Luna. We got the amazing, but this was the motherfucking dance captain of the show. We got Baby 007. And we got the amazing Silk. Have you come out in your new? Oh shit.
No, but you call me Royal Mother Silk of the House of Silk.
Okay, the Royal Mother Silk of the House of Silk.
What house is this?
Okay, I almost ruined it.
Name it your Femmes.
What's up, y'all. It's so good to have y'all as a part. We thought that it would be wonderful to start this off since we just came off of an amazing run. I think how we can start it off is we can each go around and just tell us a little bit about your background and who you are, and also like what you walk in ballroom and stuff.
All right, I am Primo the Ballerino, aka the Human Tornado. Don't forget it. I am in the Kiki scene. I'm in the house of Danya, the house of Juicy Couture. In mainstream, I'm in the house of Danya Luna. I walk schoolboy realness first, and realness with a twist. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm a professional dancer, choreographer, internationally, 17 countries, 35 states.
You better know the number.
Let's go.
Yeah, and I am an advocate for the arts. I'm an advocate for people. My real name is Nicholas, just so you all know.
Come on,
Nicholas. Nicholas means victory of the people, so I believe I was born to be a people person and to help people and bring people out and lead people, and that's what I do, and that's why I'm here.
And if I didn't hear like, bitch, I'm like, Primo must not be here, bitch. Our rooms are right next to each other, and this one sings all day. It got the most energy. Spinning shit. I was like, we just had 10 hours of rehearsal. You still going?
Yeah. You would gag at how I am even after rehearsal when I get home. Like, I never stop. I don't have off. But
I love it. I was like
It's true.
but now.
It's all true. Hi, I'm Baby. I'm from Queens. I grew up in Rockaway. In the Kiki scene, I'm in the House of Juicy Couture. And in the main scene, I'm a 007. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short. That's me.
Hi everyone, my name is Robert Silk Mason, aka Royal Mother Silk of the House of Silk in the Kiki scene. I was born in the Bronx, raised in South Carolina. I am 24 years old. Also, I am a Juilliard graduate of 2022. I'm for dance. I actually started dancing when I was 9 years old. And I'll say, what else should I say? I'm a lover.
I guess
What's
I should
your
have
category
said
in ballroom?
My category in ballroom. I walk runway and performance. I'm thinking about coming out for Face soon. Yes, and best dress. But the girls are waiting. The girls are ready. I'm excited. What else? And I don't know. Oh, and Cats, I was magical Miss Mustafa.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay, yeah.
And what was your,
Okay, so I walk women's performance, and I also walk Old Way, and in Cats I was Victoria, the white cat. I was
white cat.
Right. I was understudy for Skimbleshanks, the railway cat, and I was the dance captain.
and your character?
I was Tumble Brutus. I was also the first ever cast member of Cats, the Jellicle Ball. And I also, that is true. The blueprint of the show was placed on me.
Okay.
Back in 2021 when the idea was first birthed with Bill and Omari when they came up with the concept. And they had a mini workshop with 3 people to see if the idea even worked. It was myself, Icon, Chip, Milan, and Kaya, who's not really in the scene anymore, but the 3 of us were.
I thought our workshop was the first one.
Benjamin.
That was a I'll show you the choreography later. But I also understudied McCavity and Mr. Mustaphalis.
Amazing understudy from Miss Mustaphalis.
I just want to say how ballroom showed up in such a space like that where, people feel like, there's a difference. I feel like some people feel like there's a difference in the professionalism levels when it comes from, like, I think there's an expectation on ballroom, like, oh, they may not know such and such or how to act accordingly or whatever, but these people showed up, and we will have other cast members on, but I thought it was so important that we have ballroom cast members too, and especially like these 3 because you guys were spotlighted as some of the superstars of dance. And it, like what was that, Vogue, that you guys were highlighted in, and I thought that was...
The New York Times.
And the New York Times, as well as...
Dance
like,
magazine, sorry.
Yes, and Dance Magazine.
Yes, as breakout stars.
And she was in Vogue too.
Yeah, I was in a couple.
She
And
was
Okay.
me and Tempress, you know.
Yeah, I
All
was
of it.
but it's not about me. It's about y'all.
So, what was that? I mean, well, you guys have the background or whatever. Have you ever done any theater or anything prior?
So, growing up in Rockaway, there was like a community theater in Queens, and I would do musicals there. So before I even became a dancer, I was doing musicals. Like I did The Little Mermaid. I was Ursula in The Little Mermaid, and it was fab. Like it was like low pressure, low stakes, but I feel like it taught me a lot about theater. So that when I became a dancer, and I was like doing all that, and then just being in ballroom, like all my experiences kind of brought me to this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, like, the knowledge that I got from community theater really helped me with cats. I need to take these off. It's hurting my ears.
Yes, get comfortable.
I would say for me, I wasn't really a theater person. Everybody would be like, "Oh, you have a great voice, but why wouldn't you go into, Broadway?" Something else. Like, I'm not really a Broadway girl. I love commercials. I love modeling. I just also love being a part of the ballroom scene. So like, that's where my heart has lied. That's why I teach and do different things like that. So I, try to make my money in other ways. But this opportunity had brought me and exposed me to a different experience that I had not experienced before. And for it, and of course, it's been bringing me different opportunities in that realm that I've been thinking about. But I don't know if I will specifically go down that road. Other than if, Cats goes further with some other things. But other than that, I don't really see a big world for me in Broadway. I see myself in other fashions.
Earning it.
Oh my
Really?
God.
I'm surprised.
Me
that you are
too.
eating it.
Like that was one of like the highlights when you came out.
Yes.
And when you kind of got, oh my God, what is his name? Yes, what character was he again?
Old Deuteronomy.
Old Deuteronomy. When Old Deuteronomy went to jail, and they was and they got the cleats, and baby, you came out and you was strutting with that bag.
Okay.
And you just sparkle up, and it was like boom. And I was like, you were made to perform. You are such a phenomenal performer. So it was like a shocker to hear you say that, because I'm thinking like you saying you like, I see myself in other spaces, but it's good that you know what you want and you know where you see yourself. But I do see more theater for you. I think you're an
Yeah, and I
amazing
think you
performer.
just say that now.
It might-
But
I'm
when
gonna
they
say
come
it
knocking
might
at that door, you gonna
With a check.
Okay.
It's different.
That check.
I would say it depends on what role it is. Because I also, since I'm non-binary, I want to also stick to where I have been and see myself. Like, I don't want like someone to come and be like, "Oh my God, you're good for this," and then like change my whole like demographic and like who and what I stand for. Like, that's what I don't like, when other people do things that aren't necessarily with who they are. Because I feel like, I don't want to say like it's a disservice to a community or whatever it is, but it's like, if you know nothing about this community and you're about to be put in a role that has nothing to do with you or your skin tone or who you are in the world in general, then that could have also been a better experience and a different experience for somebody who actually really wanted that role.
I love that. I have a two-part question for that. Because we're gonna have some non-binary.
Oh my God.
On a couple
on
episodes,
on
another
episode. And first of all, when did you realize that you were non-binary?
I realized I was non-binary when I was at Juilliard. I would say because I was picked for more of the male roles because I'm tall, I'm muscular, I can lift women in the air, I can do the thing, but I've never really been a fan of men ballet variations, or I don't want to say anything that has to do with the men, because of course I have nice chemistry with women when I'm performing, things like that, but that is, a very performative aspect in the acting. But as far as my non-binary aspect, whenever I am in more of my glam and who I am personally, outside of who you see me as now, the more toned down, more boyish look. And I feel like I can be divided in both, but I don't want to be seen as one.
Okay.
What kind of character would non-binary characters be?
I would say characters that don't stick to a certain conformed way, like, you know, in ballroom. Let's say, for me, if I were to be like I have with my hair now, and with makeup and maybe a breastplate and some padding in my heels, I literally had got chopped a couple of times just because of that. But for them not seeing me for who I am and what I see myself as, and trying to not get stuck in this cookie cutter box of what ballroom thinks that I should be as a butch queen. I'm not a butch queen. I'm non-binary. I am more than just a man. You know, I am more than just a woman. I am more than just whatever this world conceives of who we are, you know, as trans women or non-binary people in this world who have, you know, pushed forth these ideals and who we are as people in the world. You know, some people don't understand that, but we have to continue to show and bring ourselves and show up so that they can see us for who we are.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So, and because I had a similar conversation like that with two friends of mine, Rudy and Sona, who, you know, they had performance and they had like a specific category for performance for them. And I was like, well, why do we need the category? And I asked them, and they said exactly what you said. Because they love to dance, but they don't want to fit into a type just to be able to do what they love. And if it's so inclusive, then why not have something specifically for them? But I asked you, because there's been this growing conversation around non-binary and trans, saying that non-binary is trans. Do you identify as trans or just non-binary?
Just non-binary. I don't feel and I would say I don't like the discrimination that goes on between from butch queens to non-binary people to trans women. I feel like we're all individually different. So I feel like regardless if I come out on the floor next to a trans woman, at the end of the day, she's gonna get it. Because that's who she is. Like I said before, and later on, or early on in the conversation, which I was talking about, like, this is your life, this is your experience, this is who you are. You are real. You're real.
Do you think there could be a non-binary? Do you think that there could be a non-binary real?
Well, I don't think we should get. Let's
No,
wait
yeah,
until
because
we have
wait,
come
yeah,
on.
let's
You gotta wait for the next
about
panel.
I was going to say, wouldn't
This
it
is
be
about
nice to
wait.
have them back?
Yes,
But
this
I want
is
to say
about
one more
cats.
thing. I want to
This
say
is
one more
about
thing about cats and just about the question in general about if you see yourself in theater. I feel like for us, since we're involved in so many different things, my perspective recently has been, I want to be a part of stuff that's right for me. I don't want to be a part of stuff where I have to push so hard to like not.
That brings me to my question I have for you.
Okay, work.
How was it being a dance captain and you're teaching not only ballroom, which is kind of hard to teach because that's kind of a thing that you just gotta have. Like, it's not just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Like, you know, it's the personality and everything that comes with it. So now you have people who are strictly structured a certain way, coming from musical theater, and you're coming from a ballroom background. How was it teaching these people?
Like the musical theater people?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give my answer and then you could give yours because you did mad teaching
This is
too.
the outspoken one. I can't believe you did this one too.
But
So the beginning and end with me.
but I feel like obviously the first things first is you have to teach the history. You have to teach where ballroom comes from. You have to teach, like Omi Balenciaga, she made this whole packet that everybody in the cast got, and it was like a history of ballroom that like you study first, but then shout out to Omi.
Literally.
Sorry, a big
My
part.
God.
She was a huge part of it. And then once you get into the actual embodiment of like, okay, like how do we teach people who've never vogued before how to vogue, or how to feel it in general? Like not even how to vogue, but like, because you could teach like boom, 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 but it'll look bad if you don't know how to feel it or if you don't understand the essence. So I feel like a lot, since musical theater people are so like kind of type A and like, we learn this and then we do it like this, like da 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 da. Like it's very like that. We kind of had to like break that down and deconstruct that a lot to get to the core of who people are and how they could bring themselves into the space organically without like copying stuff. But you know, how do you make that connection of even just being able to sit in your hip, but not like on a 5, 6, 7, 8, but just really how to sit in your hip and feel it. Yeah. So I feel like I spent a lot of time doing that. And yeah, do you have anything to say?
She was way more amazing than she's like saying. Baby is a very selfless person. She's the type of person where she is, especially when it's something that she's passionate about and that she cares about, she's willing to put herself to the side and put whatever is the need in the forefront. And to me, that is what is most important about being a leader. And what I think the reason why she was picked to be the dance captain is because she knows how to put Baby or whatever she has going on aside to be able to make sure that the bigger picture happened. So she did not only a lot of teaching, but she did a lot of unnecessary shit.
Period.
Sing on her motherfucking head, bitch.
She did a lot of
upside down on her head singing.
like
She was
like
understudy.
right, like things that she chose to do, but also things that she was expected to do. Like she went above and beyond and did things that she didn't have to do. And like that's my twin.
Thank you.
For me personally, my biggest pet peeve when it comes to artistry is knowledge and skill go hand in hand. So when I started dancing really, really late. I started dancing at the age of 14, which is like late to start dancing. But I'm the type of person.
Like that's
20-something.
No, but 14, most people who are, especially when you look at the way I dance, most people think I've danced since I was this big. No, I started training at 14, but I've always been the type of person, whenever I want something or I want to be able to do something, I dive deep into the knowledge of it. To this very day, my first ballet teacher, one of his biggest flexes when I come around is he can play any music. I can name the composer, who composed it, what ballet is from, all of that things, because I dive into the knowledge of things. So I feel like when you are in spaces, like the spaces we were in for Cats, for me, it was all about making sure dramaturgically and as far as the story went, people know exactly what the fuck it is that they're doing and why they're doing it. And I feel like there were at times where I felt like I had to bombard my way into making sure that everybody knew, because we are telling a story of a ball. We're not telling the story of ballroom, but we are telling the story of a ball. So there is context and history that people have to know. They have to have the knowledge so that they can execute the skill. So at the end of the day, it's like when we get in these moments, for instance, when we're staging Old Deuteronomy, for example, which is the number where the elder, in my mind, Old Deuteronomy is the promoter. He's the promoter of the show. This is his ball. It's his ball that he do every year, and something, magical things and special things happen. So it's like the cast, we're doing this number, and right now, at first, it kind of was giving, we're just all bowing down to Andre DeShields, who's a Broadway legend. But it's like, what does that look like in the context of ballroom? What does that mean when it's translated into ballroom? Because it's like, to the people who only do musical theater, right now it looks like we're just bowing down to a Broadway deity. So it's like, you have to come in and say things like, okay, so at a ball, this would be like an LSS.
Right.
This would be like the moment where the person who's on the mic, they done called out everybody else they could possibly call at a ball, and now it's time to acknowledge the reason why we're all here. The icon who put this all together, the icon who's curating the evening. You know, you have to give them the context as to why we are doing what we're doing. And so I feel like they low-key need to put me on as a ballroom consultant because it's like, I feel like,
Because he would always be like, well, how does this relate to ballroom? And then we would have to have that
And junior,
conversation.
bitch.
Well, I have a
We have a
question.
junior a little later.
I have a question for you guys. How does it feel to be a part of this? To be a part of this idea of how Cats is shown up now? How do you feel about being? You know, it was on New York Post, New York Times. How do you guys feel about this?
For me personally, like all the things that are happening for me personally, my whole life I've always been like so used to being like second best or like getting the second best role or like being the understudy or the afterthought or, oh, he's there, so let's use him, you know? So it's like to be the one is like, mind you, primo means number one, the finest. And it's like I gave myself that name, but it's like to actually, like I've always known that about myself, but to actually have people recognize it and see it and be in a magazine that I used to subscribe to monthly as a young dancer, like it's actually crazy. And to be able to encompass all of who I am right now on stage, like that is unheard of. There's not a lot of people who get to showcase who they are, where they are in their life at that moment and get to go on stage and live it out. So that's what it's been like for me.
Oh my God.
For me, it's like it's interesting because I went to an audition for like another Broadway show that I got called because of Cats, and there was like so many people in the audition room that was like, "You changed my life," like, and that kind of reception I've never got before, and I'm really grateful. I'm just really grateful for it all. But then, like with ballroom people, like I go to Juicy practice and they're like, "Okay, baby, when are you walking the next ball?" Like it's very much like, okay, like we got work to do. So I'm grateful for the experience and to tell the story, but I also am excited for the work I know I have to do in ballroom too.
I love that.
I was saying to piggyback off what Primo said, like I've always, because I worked at the Stranger, NYC is this new club that just opened up last year. I mean, they were open a couple of years ago, but they reopened last year. And I worked with them for a year, and I was always like, well, they gave me the platform to be myself in Vogue and dance and just be immersive and act with the people who are in the audience. And I was like, damn, like what if I was like, if I could just find a way to do this on a grander scale, like, you know, my life would just be made. And then I knew that, you know, Cats and things was coming up, and the workshops, we had just finished another workshop, and I was like, this is really about to happen for me right now. And then whenever it got there, like, you know, it wasn't the easiest thing, but to be where I am now, sitting here with all of y'all, to know that we just did that, and to really be on the stage, to be ourselves and go out all the people and change people's lives and have them cry and laugh and scream and holler, like, just seeing that even on stage myself, like even us, like all of us, we're literally sitting there crying, holding each other's hands, like, damn, this is really happening. Like, this is our lives right now. This is what we're doing. And I couldn't be any more grateful and blessed from the Almighty up there in the sky, because I've been through a lot of stuff this year, and I went through a lot of stuff even during Cats, and even now still, like, but with that opportunity and being able to be exposed to such a bigger world, it's brought me so many different things to help me, you know, be able to find more hope in the world, hope for myself and my career, hope for my friends and the people that are around me, and to also pave the way for people who are younger.
Oh,
Yes.
It's like, you know,
That's
it's about us right now, but at some point, there's other people that are going to be coming. There's another girl that's always there.
Amen.
So it's like, for me, also, that's another reason why I built my house, because there are people and kids that are my age or even younger, or even people who are older than me that have looked up to me, and they're like, oh, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? How are you going to do this? And with Cats, I knew. I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to start this, because people are going to see me in what I am capable of and what I know and the knowledge and my skill and what I can do and I can help people. No matter if you're in my house or outside of my house or
There it is.
or
I love
you know
that.
my friend or my family, like I should not be no one should ever be discouraged or turn away from something that they want to learn. If you are, that means that person wasn't supposed to help you.
Amen. So did y'all think that this experience would be this bad?
No.
No.
You say yes?
I didn't.
Yeah.
You do? You felt
Yep.
You felt
I
it.
would say I really didn't know what to expect, and I didn't want to let down myself, so I didn't want to get too excited about it. Like, people like, girl, how you feel? You're about to do such and I'll be like, I mean, you know, I didn't want to be like, you know, I didn't want to be like, bitch, it's about to be. But Julia, I will say, from the beginning, was the piece that made me say, bitch, this is about to be history.
Okay.
This is about you turning, like, you know what I'm saying? And so that was, I will always keep that in the back of my mind, like, ooh, I hope. And then when I start seeing the stuff coming out, bitch, we be up on these posters and stuff, I'm like, okay, it's happening. And you start getting all these emails, I'm like, wait a minute.
All the emails.
The emails. Oh, the emails.
Yeah, so let's, before we do finish with this, but we did
game.
we had a topic, unless y'all have some more questions.
We have a game for them.
Huh?
We have a
Oh,
hot
we do
game.
have a game.
Yes,
Yes, we
the
do.
15 crazy.
So while we get the poll, how do you feel about the panel, like what we was talking about earlier?
Yeah,
with
do y'all want
the,
to chime in?
people on the panel and them, and their like etiquette on the panel, and then like people behind the panel yelling, like if they're on the camcorder or whatever, they're yelling for the people that are walking.
Woo! Okay. So, I believe that if you are a leader, you have to be conscious of your leadership and your power all the time. There is not one time, especially when you're in the space, that you are a leader, and you have to be conscious of how you are all the time. When I toured across the world, we had a lot of rules on that tour. We weren't allowed to even smoke a cigarette or let the kids, because we were working with kids. There was a lot of things that the kids were not allowed to see. There were things we weren't allowed to do in public. People weren't allowed to know about. If we expressed certain things, we had to make sure that it was our own personal opinion and that it wasn't attached to the name that we were associated with. So it's like being a leader. These are all the things that I think that people don't even think about. I don't want to say they forget about, because it's like people don't even think about it to begin with. Maybe they don't know. But it's like if you are, 9 times out of 10, if you are on a panel at a ball, or you are even able to be behind a panel, you have some sort of power. You have to know your power. And you have to know when your power is powerful. And when you are, it's like y'all were talking about, when the camera is on, I can't tell you how many times, there are so many clips that I have of myself that I ended up discouraged from watching them. Because, and what's crazy is somebody yesterday just told me, somebody who's not even really in ballroom, they said, I noticed something, when you come out, the room gets silent. Like you do all the same things that people go up for and live for, like people will scream for them, but when you come out, the room gets silent. And I can't tell you how many times I've watched myself so much in a clip that I started noticing other shit inside of that same clip. And it's like, it's always quiet, it's always silent, it's always shade. I'll hear certain things, and it's like, something recently just happened with my sister at a ball where somebody came in front of the camera and said that my sister shouldn't have won and that was some bullshit and all of that, this, that, and the other. Literally went right in front of the camera and said, y'all know that was some bullshit and blah-da-da-da-da should have won. And for that type of thing to be happening when you have a position of power, it goes absolutely crazy, because it's like, your ego has to be put to the side. I feel like everybody's ego, when they become a leader or they realize they have some sort of power, their ego gets bigger. When you become a leader and you realize you have a certain power, you actually have to actively shrink your ego so that you can effectively lead, because you have to put other people around you first as a leader, because everybody is looking at you as a leader. You don't want to be a dictator. Nobody likes a dictator.
Amen. Let us speak. Mr. Bowl, you have the ball.
So you know what time it is. This is where we get crazy, we get sexy, and we get cool. This is the Femme Queen Crazy and Sexy Cool Shot Game Hour. And we're about to get messy with the girls. Stay tuned.
A panel is gonna be a panel. Like you said, not everybody's Marsha P. Johnson. That's part of what makes ballroom, you know? Like, you can't expect everyone to act the same.
That's true.
It's like you saw it in the debate with Trump and Kamala. It's like not every leader is the same kind of leader. So you have to come knowing what you can do, and if it's not your night, it's not your night.
Boobs, and it be that for me when you know it's not your night, and then you're like, oh, it's a political panel.
I'm like, ooh, girl, you could have been. But sometimes that's because I see what happens with the other people. So, bitch, I'm gonna go up on my people.
Yo!
Y'all want them to be professional.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like you doing mad 360s and shit, and you're over here drunk and 6
First
years
of all,
old.
let's start
Like,
paying the judges, have rules,
Sign contracts.
sign
Stop
contracts.
giving the judges drinks.
Stop giving them drinks. Yes, one drink limit maximum.
Food at the meal. Why are you having food?
No food. You can have food.
They get
They
itis.
get hungry.
You bitch, they got Dancing with the Stars. Do you see them eating?
Have a reception beforehand. You know.
come full, come filled.
Like, where's your
Y'all
Did you get your question?
Okay, so
Did you
let's
got
go.
you got everybody got a question?
Let's go with you first.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, me? Oh. If you could be any animal, which would it be and why? I think this is
That was not supposed to
perfect.
go there.
I didn't know that was for the bowl. No, that's fine. No.
That's
I can answer this in two another.
Yeah, we're here. It's only
Because these
one.
questions are usually supposed to be kind of like
Spicy.
risque.
Well, I'll say a peacock because that's my spirit animal. But let me see.
These questions are mixy for sure.
I saw it.
Oh, okay. Smash, kill, marry.
And what's that? Can you tell me my option?
It's for
Smash, kill, marry, GNC, trans people, or DL men.
What?
I would smash. I would definitely smash another GNC. I would kill a DL man, and
That's the right answer.
I would definitely more than happily marry a trans woman.
Oh.
I would say I would smash a GNC because I mean.
That's what you do.
It's just, it's who I am. It's like,
What you
we
tell?
girls, we here girls. Kill DM men because I would say they're just so. I actually just cut myself off from one like 2 months ago because like he just kept being so pervasive, and then it was like he didn't want to answer anything that I had going on, and then it was like he would only message me when he wanted to talk, and then it was like it gave like if you want me to be this trophy thing. Or because I am this person, or look this certain way, or you want me to wear a certain type of thing just to come and see you, no,
Right.
that is not it for me. And then for you to call me after I tell you the issues that I have with you, and then you say that the issues that I have with you are wrong, or I don't know what I'm talking about, but I clearly there's messages going on where I'm literally you're either messaging me or I'm telling you something about me, and then you don't say anything, and then you change the whole conversation.
Agent like DL man.
It's given.
So you're gagging if you're watching this.
And I would say marry a trans woman because I feel like for me, I've always cared for women in general, regardless if I'm gay or whatever, because it's like
Well, that's a question I need to ask the people.
I just have respect.
gay if you're
I've
gay?
always had respect for women.
Oh, you
Yeah,
gay
and my
GNC?
No, don't answer that.
Answer that next time. Answer that next time.
Let's give it a go.
Next time. Okay.
Maybe the next time.
Next time. Next panel. Ooh. Who gets on your nerves and why?
What in the cast? In the
Ooh,
cast.
that's a good question.
Ooh.
Baby, that's a
Why you look like that?
Perfect question.
Yeah,
That's a
I'm
perfect
on.
question for me.
I think it was a
Be
little
honest.
kid.
And you want to know what?
She gonna take it? Next time.
She
Next time.
was.
She's choosing leadership.
I'm choosing leadership and I'm choosing being above it. I've learned so much, and I've learned that you can't give someone else the energy. You just gotta keep it and move forward.
Let's go.
Okay, before I say that, I just want to say I'm adopted, like legally adopted by a trans woman. My mother is trans. Before Femme Queen was probably even a term, she was trans. She was trans when it was
Shout out to Gwen.
unpopular. Yes, Gwen, tattoo right here on my arm.
Shout out Gwen. We love you, Gwen.
Before it was ever popular, so it's like I don't play when it comes to women in general because that's how I was raised. But when it comes to trans women, a trans woman rescued me when I literally had, like, so many times I was about to die. And I felt like I was destined to die. And a trans woman found me and adopted me and raised me how I was supposed to be raised. I didn't know what love was. There were so many dysfunctional things I was going through in my life that I thought was love. I thought I was supposed to be raped. I thought it was normal to be abused. I thought it was normal to have things shoved down my throat or to be mentally traumatized. I thought that was normal until a trans woman who did not have to find me found me and saw something special in me and invested every dime she made into me. She invested in my dance career. She's the reason why I'm a dancer. Every tight, every ballet slipper, everything, every show, up until she financially, this woman just stopped paying my phone bill like 2 months ago. And that's because she just stopped working. She called me and was like, I'm sorry, I can't pay your phone bill. I'm like, what? Like all of this, Mom, I owe all of this to you. Now, on to this question.
I'm gonna.
It was like,
God,
my aunt's
shout
name
out
is
to
Gwen.
Gwen.
And,
No, it's real.
And, my grandmother actually adopted me when I was 7, and after my grandmother passed, my aunt's name is Gwen, and she took care of me. And so I went off to Juilliard.
The name Gwen is blessed. That's why it's on my body.
Ooh.
These questions have been perfect for each person. Which castmate would you play with?
I want to hear that.
No,
No, for real, because I know there was stuff going on that I didn't even know about. 'Cause
I
I'm
didn't
just a
never
girl.
know about nothing. I was always in the box.
There was so much stuff going on that I didn't know about that I'm sure I still don't know about. But I am a very sexually liberated person, and I don't give a fuck about none of that. So I will answer this gladly. There's two valid answers. The first one is Jonathan.
What did he play? What did he play? Which role? Which role?
Shout out to
Jonathan.
Mungo Jerry.
Yeah, he played Mungo Jerry.
Mungo Jerry.
Mungo
I
Jerry.
knew it,
But he
Yes.
also walks realness. He walks
I know.
everyday
Walked
realness.
and the reason why is because I like people who I like men who are smart. I like men who are invested in everything that they have going on in their life. So they put themselves first. So if somebody can put themselves first, you know that you can come closely thereafter, because I wouldn't want to be with anybody who don't put themselves first, because how can you know, all of that. And I also, he's sexy as fuck. Like, come on, like,
Yes.
let's be real. The other one would be
Say it.
oh my god, okay. The other one would be the new McCavity.
Roger Covington.
Roger Covington.
Chocolatey.
And obviously I love chocolate men, like men who are I love chocolate skin. Like, I just think it's so fab. I think it's God's fabulous creation. It's just like, let me create something that everybody loves to eat, but make the same image in a human. So I just think that
Back when we have a twisted spirit, but the stuff you be talking about was sexually, so he be. You ever see the stuff?
Primo says the best stuff.
And he's one of the new generation that talks this shit, that don't care about
I told you
what
that.
everybody
yeah,
else
I
says.
really don't care, because at the end of the day, who's gonna check me? And if you check me, I got the checkmate, bitch. So
Oh,
I love that. I'm so
Baby.
glad that we had you guys on.
Take this anyway.
Say cheers to cats.
Cheers to
Everyone is
cats.
perfect.
Cheers to cats. Yeah, well.
We love y'all. Hopefully
to
we'll be
cats.
reconvening, and because I believe cats is not over.
That's right.
So can y'all say it one time for me before y'all go?
What?
Jellicle cats come out tonight.
Jellicle cats, come one, come all. The Jellicle moon is shining bright. Jellicles come to the Jellicle bar. Jellicle cats come out tonight. Jellicles come to the Jellicle bar.
We gotta do that.
Bye. Thank
Yes, thank you all.
Oh, this is
I love you. Auntie Tabby. Queen Mother.
Come here. I love you.
Yes, and we're back. And speaking of cats, the Jellicle Ball, we have the iconic cat, baby. We have Julia La Beja, the icon, the pioneer. What's up, darling?
How are you? I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're so happy to have you here. We just spoke to some of the other cast members and from Ballroom,
Sorry.
and you are one of Ballroom's like jewels, and to have been able to experience you in the theater world as well, and you constantly being able to drop gems throughout the whole run, and you knew how big it was going to be before it even happened. Speak to that. Like, how did you know, and what did you think about even going into this situation when they asked you to be a part of Cats?
When I was asked to be a part of Cats, I accepted because it allowed me to move forward from Paris is Burning, and it allowed me to move forward from Pose. Being the original MC of Paris is Burning, watched Billy Porter win the Emmy for portraying me in Pose and being left on the side, and now being given another opportunity to reinvent myself, to revitalize Junior LaBeija. I remember distinctly, and I'm gonna bring this up, and you was a part of it, I was given 24 voice lessons. And when I went to the theater for my voice lesson, I came a half an hour early, and I sat in the session room, and I heard a voice. And unbeknownst to me, it was the voice of Grisabella. And I was sitting there saying to myself, this is what's being channeled. That I, who made the statement that I always wanted to be a woman, but I never wanted to be a poor woman, is now listening to a woman express her memories of being beautiful and being alone. And when you came out the room, that's the first time we met. And I said to you, you are the reason that I'm here. Now I understand my purpose for being Gus. Because when you look at the play, what a lot of people don't understand if you're not into theater, Gus wanted to go to the heavenly side layer too. And from a ballroom perspective, I would have kicked Grisabella ass off the stage to go to the heavenly side layer. Fuck her. She ain't fair. I'm fair. But in retrospect, understanding that the universe aligns you with your thoughts and your ideas, even when you don't mention it to no one else. Oh, I want to go, but Grisabella deserves to go. So how am I going to release the idea that she deserves it and not I? And that's why I constantly was, go ahead, keep going. Because you was a kitten, but you was also a cat. And taking it in with the term used, dramaturgy, you're a woman, right? You're a cat. So the bitch had kittens. Oh, these are kittens that me and Deuteronomy helped raise. These are her kittens that she had to abandon because she went out into the world to become her authentic self. And that's something that I didn't do. So when the part of Gus was offered to me and I read the lyrics, I am Gus. I am Gus, the theatrical cat that did everything in his lifetime to people please, social acceptance, education, literature, art, only to find out I have to start over again. And what happened with the role, it made me aware that I am a role model in a community that is misunderstood because we mislabel ourselves. And I'm going to touch on that panel and judging part when I'm saying this. A community means if I need to have somebody wash my clothes, I go to you. Somebody to take care of my children, I go to you. The hospital, I go to you. The bank, I go to you. Because we are a group of people that have the same ideals and thoughts about living well. I understand my sexual orientation and I understand my gender. And this is the explanation. Sexual orientation is who I go to bed with. Gender is who I go to bed as.
Talk your stuff.
I am a bottom.
My new caption.
I am a bottom. What? Listen, baby.
How much you showing off your nippies?
It's okay. I am a bottom, and every pot has a lid. I am feminine. I am effeminate. I express it in my manifestation. When I go out into the universe, my hands tell you that I'm soft. I'm easy on the eye. Yeah. I'm pleasant in conversation.
Yeah.
And I was raised by a house of transgender women. I was abused by a sibling because he couldn't understand that his oldest brother, who was handsome, naturally beautiful, wanted to be dominated. But that's what I wanted. I wanted to be dominated. With the understanding, and this is very important what I'm about to say, I early on has what is known as duality in my life to this very day. I am a Christian and I am a homosexual. So it was no struggle for me. I was real clear of what I wanted. And being raised a Jehovah's Witness, I had oratorical skills because you had to do ministerial service, you had to do speeches, you had to go out to door with the watchtower and awake. And the role reversal is, as I'm knocking on doors, true story, I get the addresses of the most beautiful men, up and coming, hustlers, swindlers, divorcees, con artists, dope fiends. Oh, there's a whole group of us. I relinquished the ministerial part because I knew not to go under the water, immersed the saying that I am a wholehearted, Bible-toting, Jesus-loving, God-fearing Jehovah's Witness. I denounced it. Not that I didn't believe in it, but I knew that I was not going to be wholehearted with the practice. I don't believe in what we suffer with today, these 5-pound, Bible-toting, tambourine-shaking motherfuckers that at night is, come here, Junior, come here, Junior. I went through that. So when I was offered the role of Cats at approximately 67 years old, to rejuvenate, to revitalize myself, and to give the constitutional part of our American legacy that we were denied, I am the first ballroom icon to hit the theater stage as gender non-conforming, letting you see that I have the freedom of expression and the freedom of speech. Visually, I watch the audience gasp at me being naturally beautiful as Gus. Gasp that I was articulate in my expression. Gasp that my femininity was from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. Now here's the reality. It didn't change the fact that within what I was being Gus, what I was letting the audience see around the world. Mm-hmm. This is what your husband tried to tell you. This is what your son tried to tell you. This is what your daughter tried to tell you. That there are people who are differently abled, not disabled, that have the right to be if only you give them an opportunity. Even now, the risk, and I said this at the last ball that I attended in speech. Do you understand what Project 25 means? Do you understand the political landscape of wanting to get rid of people of trans experience? It's no different than what's happening in Gaza. It's no different what's happening in Rwanda. It's no different that's happening around the world. But if you don't place your allegiance or you don't pledge your belief systems in it, let's go back. It's no different than what you see in the ballroom. When I go to the balls now, I don't sit in the audience. I sit behind the stage because I have a right to sit behind the stage. I've been doing this for 52 years. So when I sit...
How is it different? How is ballroom different now than it was 52 years ago?
Because when you went to a ball 52 years ago, you was dealing with femininity.
I missed that.
Not masculinity. I brought something that represents the house of La Beja, the house that I came from. We always carried a bottle of perfume wherever we went.
Me too.
And we spritz.
I always.
And the perfume that I carried,
The shade.
and it is relevant to my life, is First by Van Cleef and Arpels. Because in all categories, I am first.
All right, La Beja.
Can you tell us, I remember you speaking a story about how you became a La Beja. Tell us how you became a La Beja.
I was articulate, nerdy, but they gave me, because of the incident that happened within the family, they gave me my single room occupancy at 15 years old. And 15 years old in the 70s, when you went to a rooming house, you had what we are now called substance abusers, sex workers, incarcerated, mentally challenged or mentally ill. And I was a child. So they took care of me. I had my own room. It was a railroad apartment. I had my own room. And there used to be a Chinese restaurant where people that was under substance abuse would go for substance maintenance, and it was called methadone. And I would go to the Chinese restaurant, because it was around the corner from where I lived at, for their little, toast and grits and knuckles. And then I met all of the queens. And I, being young and being a former Jehovah's Witness, I ran my mouth a lot. And the house of La Beja drew to me for various reasons. And what was important for them was that despite their intravenous drug use, as you see, that's why I bled my arms, I was never allowed. Never. I was never allowed. But I would sit there.
Let's go.
I would sit there and watch their packages, their jewels, their furs as they carried on. And for me, I had the gift of gab, so they made me an MC, master of ceremony for the after hour balls, because I was able, I was outright nosy. So things that you wouldn't pick up on, if your shoe went over if your feet and toes went over your shoes, I'll call that ham and cheese. The ham and cheese sandwiches where the meat goes over the bread.
Ham and cheese.
So the children would be,
Mama got ham and cheese.
Your pee over the bill.
And I would say things like, when it comes time for categories like realness, I would tell the queen, Miss Thing, you can watch Tarkovsky's War and Peace on your back with no commercials. Like, you in the wrong category. Right?
Oh.
Then I would tell them, Miss Thing, the only thing feminine about you is your thoughts. So they would hire me. They would hire me immediately. And mind you, I would do these things, and I'm going to keep it real. I was under the influence of an illicit drug called angel dust. So the angels and the spirits had me red. I would be aloof. And I would look you in your face and go, excuse me, sweetheart, the category calls for Maybelline, not make-believe. Or I would sit there and go, before you get chopped, ibbity-bibbity boop, like, be gone.
Do you think that we're more sensitive now, or do you think that we need to take a ride?
The sensitivity, see, look at it from a capitalist viewpoint. Look at it from financial viewpoint. Balls nowadays, first of all, you have them every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Why am I gonna sit there and watch you in H&M and pay $60? In other words, you got 20 beauties coming to the ball for $60 a piece. I got 600 H&M Conway Vogue Femmes. Who am I going to pay attention to? I'm going to watch your face sweat off. I'm going to watch your girdle snap. I'm going to watch your Charles Jourdan slingback snap, because all 600 of them is going to walk before you hit the floor. Because if they leave, I'm only left with 20 people at $60. The next thing is, look at the mentality. I was at the last ball, and yes, I'm saying this real clear, and watch a judges panel of predominantly men, bearded men, judge women categories. I was flabbergasted. And the reason why I couldn't say anything is because it'll be easier to say, put Miss Junior out, than change the panel. So I sit there and gag. I sit there and watch girlfriends, house fathers, pick their house and chop other houses. I also watch in ballroom a term, look it up, it's called colorism. It's not racism, it's colorism. I was the first one, when I had my ball, I saw it in the 80s. Dark and lovely versus light and lovely. Because what happens is you'll sit up there and have a light beauty, and here comes a dark beauty, and you want to clash amongst yourselves, they're both lovely. So split the money. Split it. They never split it. Then they'll tell, and I take full responsibility for this, they will tell an ordained beast, renowned monster, to be head judge. And to break the tie. And the girls sit there and suffer through it. And I don't understand it. This renowned beast never won nothing. Never won in the category. Not known from the category. North, east, west, south. And she or he decides who wins. Then the rudeness of somebody is sitting there. My sisters come in for the category, spending thousands, and you will give them $200 or $300 for grand prize, and yet get somebody to be pledged or end us on the floor with no health insurance, thousands of dollars for a pop, dip, and spin. But we'll point at each other. And then the difference in ballroom is that back then we were artists. These are entertainers. An artist knows your worth. An artist knows, just like I said to you when I met you, you are about to influence the world. Mm-hmm. Get out of that Tempress chastity shit. They are not looking at that. You are. Notice it. From around the world, night after night after night. And all that you may have expressed and manifested, that's what womanhood is. It is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is not about denying where I come from. Let me tell you what I'm proud of. And it's documented. In my lifetime, I have went from the nut house to the White House. And now to theater. Invited and escorted, in and out. I have been in mink coats, diamonds, and jewelry. I just bought me a mink coat, darling. I just bought me a mink coat, darling. I had the hood attached. I had the hat attached. I had the scarf attached. And my mindset said to me, Miss Junior, you mean to tell me that you are about to wear this mink coat and go inside of a bodega and shop for little Debbie's like you are in Saks Avenue? What? That's the mindset. Yeah. It begins upstairs. We have to remember what happens in our mind is transferred to our heart, then it's manifested in our actions. With the understanding that I still am a coward. Because now I'm doing research for the best hormones. I don't know whether to go to Thailand or Dominican Republic.
Oh, you want to take hormones? You going to start taking hormones, you're saying?
Sweetheart, when this moves further, I'm not coming back.
Oh, you come back.
Oh.
I got some Thailand shots.
I mean, the reality is, for me, and I'm being the spokesperson for people like me. At what age do I decide to be happy?
Jesus. Not
content, not satisfied, not surviving, happy.
I named Junior's book, I Wanted to Be a Woman, but not a poor black woman, because that's what Junior always says. And I thought that was so catchy. Like,
why?
I always wanted to be a woman, but not a poor black woman. So that's
because
why they never
the time period that I was reared, nurtured by my family, and I give complete homage to my mother and my father. My father was a disciplinarian. My mother was a homemaker. She was a great beauty. He was a thug, and I have the same traits. I'm a great beauty, but I must have a thug. So it's intergenerational. It's not something just mishap. I wanted all. You know, I went to Betty Crocker where I wear the apron and make biscuits and grits and butter and all that for him. Yes. But the bottom line is I'm good in the streets, he's good in the sheets, so we meet halfway. I'm not going to be combative. And that's not a heteronormative outlook, that is a humane outlook. I love, and I continue to love, my man. And I have a right to argue with my man.
That's right.
Motherfuck him in the laundromat. Motherfuck him in the bathroom. Motherfuck him at the welfare office. Shit happens. You ain't bring the food stamp home, motherfucker, and I'm crying here. What the fuck wrong with you? I'm a realist. I'm not trying. There is no Cinderella. There is no tall, great black man. He's a black man. Not true. I do believe in contributions. But I'm at the age where I'm cash and carry. I'll have the cash, you will carry on. There will be no long conversations. I'm not dating you, I'm not buying you cigarettes, I'm not buying you MetroCard, I'm not buying you sneakers. How much? That's being a realist. Also, I have to remember, there's a difference between mental issues and mental illness. Just like this circle, I wake up every day and I choose which alternate I'm going to be today. You. Just get dressed. I'll be with you tomorrow. I cannot go out here with this plan. I live day by day. I had a thought yesterday, or day before yesterday. I am afraid to walk in my neighborhood with $1,000 in my pocket, and there's motherfuckers with millions and billions losing every day. Yes. What kind of shit is that? But being denied, oppressed, suppressed, refused, confused, and abused, now I'm at a point in my life, because of cats, to sit in a chair and watch people from around the world gag at what you're saying, at what you're singing, and what you're doing. And you influence the room. They didn't know about my agony, my ecstasy, my passion, my pain. They was only interested in, oh my God, Junior, you're brilliant. You're flawless. Yeah, bitch. And that was my mindset. Yeah, bitch. Because I'm sitting here having to follow contract rules, right? Instructions in order for me to maintain this spot. Yeah, bitch. But I can't say it to you. And by me not saying it to you, you cannot construct no bias because I didn't say it. And learning, and this is the hardest lesson, learning to love myself again. In ballroom, in my apartment. You know, and I tell on myself because it refreshes my spirit, because I do have one. It's awakened. I'm wearing Ralph Lauren. I'm wearing Tom Ford. I'm wearing Gucci, and I am Junior LaBeija. Google me. Look me up. I'm not a wannabe. I am. I am a hot mess, and I am fab.
And we love you all the more for it.
Because of y'all. And just like I do it, transference, counter-transference, so do others. And that's what happened in the ballroom. I want to be Asia. Oh no, I want to be Tabytha. Oh no, I want to be Tempress. And I picked y'all apart. I want your face, your hips, your breasts, but I ain't got no money. So it's imagination, which is the foundation of ballroom. Imagination. Once you go from the imagination, then you put in the creativity, and then you manifest it. And I'm saying this, and it's true. If you think I'm wrong, let's go to the next ball. You have butch queens that can walk better in pumps than the girls.
That's a fact.
They walk better than me.
Yeah, I mean, and twirl, and do the Naomi Campbell dip, and the Christy Turlington look at you back. And, so that they manifest what's in their heart. But the harsh reality, we live in a time period that one thing is key. And I brought that along too, darling.
Okay, what we got?
What you got?
You must follow the rules. Here's my passport. Here's my veteran ID. Whatever it takes for you to be successful, and it's not illegal, do it.
And many may know that you have what is your degree?
I have my associate in human services, my bachelor's in social work, my master's in social work. I dropped out of the PhD advanced program because I did not want to experience social work burnout coming back to my LGBTQIA vegetable soup community, alphabet soup, to tell them, girl, you need to change your mind. Because they're not going to listen to me. And I've tested it. I work for organizations, and they call them, and they call the case. Yes, Your caseworker is Mr. James Lloyd Good Jr. That's my government name. And I get up to go see the case. And they go, Miss Junior, what you doing here? My name is, you're my case? Oh no, Miss Thing. Oh no, that's all right, Miss Thing. And it's understandable because I have access to your whole records. So to give you your dignity and respect, when I'm sitting in these workplaces, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. However, the flip side is, I'm the first one, and I did it for years. I went to 100 Center Street and sat back there and watched the judge tell you, the cowboy, that I'm so glad we had this time together, but you're going upstate. Girl, send me your address. Not having the money to bail them out. I didn't have the money. Going to the post office with those 45-pound boxes, you must have this amount of vegetables. You must have this amount of vegetables. You can't. It must be hermetically sealed. It can't be open. I went through all of that because we were surviving. But now it's time for us to live.
Right.
And
that's so interesting because a lot of times people see the characters that we portray. Like you was an MC, and so a lot of times you were being shady. What I noticed about a lot of us is because of the bonding that ballroom creates in the relationships, and also seeing that a lot of people had to struggle or survive, a lot of times, whether others know it or not, we are helping behind the scenes. Like, you know, like you said, you're sending packages off to people. You know, sometimes it wasn't even people that you really didn't know. It may have been somebody in crossing, but you do know that some of your paths align and that you know what it is to struggle and go through these things. So a lot of times people are helping just because of that, and I don't think that that is spotlighted enough. A lot of times we talk about the shade so much, but I know so many different individuals who are helping others in the background. And
yeah, that's what I said at the most recent ball when I had the chance to speak. If you're sleeping on somebody's couch, clean the couch. If you get food stamps, share the food stamps. Because the worst place to be homeless is between your two ears. Why am I against you? We are the ones that suffer the homophobia and the transphobia amongst ourselves the most. And I've been telling y'all women for decades, and I'm going to say it again. Your worst enemy is that butch queen standing next to you. Because when you go out to the club and the man sees you, they whisper. You go out to the club and leave your pocketbook and you come back and $20 and $50 is missing, they got you. Don't be afraid to tell them they got you. You know, baby, I've seen it. Oh, and the coup de grace, the piece of resistance, is we are the most vicious, cunning and baffling and insidious creative people on the planet. I think the most fiercest thing that a man has ever done to a queen, if she put herself in the title of being a queen, is when your husband turned into a femme queen and be softer than you. Girl, I gags.
Wow.
You see that a lot in ballroom.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's always like not wanting to be combative, but I also think that if you're dating someone and they later on transition, I don't think it's the most horrible thing. I think that we all voyage to who we are at some point, and some of us reach that arrival sooner than others. Me personally, like, this is why, like, I've heard stories, I was a part of one of those stories. So for me, it's like, that's why I don't date inside the scene. It's not like it's not like a deal breaker for me, but I've never wanted to date inside the scene because I would hear those stories about, oh, well, you be their boyfriend and then they'll come out and they'll get you on the back of the runway and they're battling you, like stuff like that. I think that promotes and limit people from being who they are. And I also think that that keeps them isolated into this one idea of who they can be, and that's where a lot of the hate come from. And that's where the vehemence come from, because we're not allowing them to be themselves. So now when they see the girl bitch, like they like, oh, well, you keep telling me I should have been a girl, but I'm not a girl. And they always wanted to, but they never had the power to express that, because we think like that, and that's where some of that hate come from. Now they don't like us. Now they're talking about us. And like when you said at the club, they be the first one to say that's a dude. You know, so I've seen those experiences, but I'm just saying, like, all of that kind of plays into pushing people in a box and saying who they can or cannot be.
How do you feel?
What happened?
No, I was wondering, is that why you're saying that why a reason
I,
for them
it
to hate
plays
us?
into that. How many times have we said, like, they want to be the girl? You know what I'm
Yeah, a
saying?
lot of them do.
Right, but at the end of the day, when we say things like the hardest thing or my worst fear is to date a butch queen who wants to be a girl, at some point they may want to. I mean, it's everybody's journey, but not everybody's journey, but again, I just don't want to get into a thing where I like say stuff like that, because I was one of them. I dated a femme queen, or I liked the femme
Well,
queen.
pause.
I ended up being a femme queen.
Well, pause.
Bitch.
You have.
Oh, it hit. It was personal.
Look,
See,
yeah.
that's what I was
That's what I'm
saying. That's
saying.
what I'm saying.
You have-
But
Personal.
no, but it is a personal story. I didn't, like, we never did anything, but when she was around me,
was
she
admiring
liked me.
her.
You know, I liked her, and I could say one of the girls who I loved right out the gate was Ajane Milan. I fell in love with her.
Oh, that's my favorite.
But again, you know, like, I knew that I could never go past the threshold, because, bitch,
You dated Ajane?
I didn't date her. I was infatuated with
Oh, from a
Ajane.
distance.
No,
A
like,
lot
we
of
hung
people
out.
were.
No, I hung out with her, like, when we used to go to the club, I wanted to be the first one to dance with her. I wanted to be around
You wanted to
her.
be a girl.
Right, but
You
this
was
is,
admiring her.
But
So
you-
that's what we're saying. Don't if you admire us, you admire us, but you don't have to date us to act like that you want to date us and then you're gonna become a girl. Like, you know what I'm saying?
girl,
Like,
that's so
I get what
anyway.
I get what she's saying. I
But
get what
that's,
you're saying.
but you understand, like, I was attracted
I get it because
to
it was
but I-
personal. I get why
Right,
because
that's
it
what
was
I'm saying. It's
personal.
not, but I just don't. I also don't think that. I think that fosters some of the content,
No.
especially when we know that they want to be the girl, but they just never had the balls to be the girl.
That's
But
not
Dawn,
everyone's issue.
consider-
That's your issue.
Do you consider
I don't think it's an issue.
ballroom-
It's not my issue. It happens, and I think that when we say that, we gotta be very clear. We've said that. The girls have said that.
Like,
I mean, you don't care about that, but when he says that, I'm like, you know, for me,
I don't think it
I'm
was that
gonna
deep.
say what I want to say, and I'm gonna feel how I want to feel, whether people don't understand it or not. To me, I just think that that is also a part of the problem when we say things like, oh, well, you know, if you date the butch queen and he turned into a girl, bitch, there are a lot of butch queens that turn into girls.
And guess what? I have a problem with men that think they put on a dress and because they go to a ball, they are women.
I do too.
I have a problem with, I know women and men of trans experience that you dare not mention ballroom to them.
Yeah.
you had to remind me, like when I was like, you know, ballroom turned it, like with Grisabella, for me, she is one of the girls, the older girls who left the scene, and then she comes back and she doesn't get the reception that she feels like she deserves, and she has fallen on hard times. And I remember I was explaining to you, you know, why, and I was like, you know how sometimes, like, you know, the girls come back, you know, when they were pushed out of the scene, and you reminded me that at one point, because there was one point, that's why there's even a difference with the name Chastity and with the name Tempress, that I didn't want to be associated with ballroom in society, and that the girls at one time left ballroom because they didn't want to, like, that's when the girls were living stealth and they didn't want to be associated, and even some of the girls now, like, they didn't want to be associated with ballroom, and you, like, no, the girls left. Like, because they didn't want to be associated with ballroom. Like, you know, they weren't necessarily pushed out, which now they are, like, a lot of times being pushed out. But there were times where the girls had left because they didn't want to be associated with that, because they felt like that was a, you know, it became like this gay thing. You know, it was the butch queens running everything, and then, you know, you trying to live stealth, and so the two just didn't work well together. But
Look at, I'm gonna use myself as self-disclosure. I thought about it. At 16 years old, Johns Hopkins Hospital stated that they would give sex changes But the trade-off was you would be the guinea pig or the sex change that would teach incoming medical students how to perform it. So I was ready to, I'm young and naive, I'm by any means necessary.
Let me
But,
get that.
but wait, reality set in. And this is where you can tell how people listen to learn or learn to listen. It was also, I was pulled to the side and I was told, Junior, you know you like it deep. And if it penetrates you and go to the other hole, and that comes out of that hole,
Oh my God.
you are ruined.
Who told you that? That's just like
Look,
so not
what you
possible.
see, you have to
Yes, it
remember
is.
something, honey. I'm talking 70s, early 80s.
That happened to one of my friends.
Yeah,
What?
that did happen.
Yeah,
And
that
Yes.
happened to one of my friends.
Especially they're
Yes.
learning things now. You know what I'm saying? With that,
That happened
generation.
recently. That
wait, I'm
happened
sorry.
2 years
Yeah,
ago.
they-
Right.
People have colon like that
Recently
problem.
happened?
2
Years ago.
Yes.
It's so close,
my
like the way
God.
it's
Yeah.
and then the way they make it. I've seen it be so close that girls were boo-booing out of their vagina.
Wait a minute. And then another thing
Girl,
is,
I would lose my whole
Exactly.
complete
wait a minute. What about
mind.
breast augmentation? And then between my breasts, you got social distancing 6 fucking feet.
They'll be like,
Oh
"Yeah,
my
first
God,
set- my
listen.
first set was telephone."
Wait a minute. I don't want to further this conversation.
But
Okay?
see, this is coming from
Let's
a
get back to
this
it.
is coming from a gender non-conforming person, and that's reality.
Well,
You
see,
can-
now the Bush Queen just said that they're ready to hang out.
No. This is what is key. This is a key element of understanding. It's okay to agree to disagree, but we are in a political climate where they are saying no. No discussion, no reviews, no talk back, no look back. Now you mean to tell me, for me, and these are things that I deal with and I don't have them. I'm already looking at, well, I want my vulva and my lips redone, and I don't want my seal to fall out to my knees, and I don't want my hip in the middle of my back.
Ooh, Jesus.
And it costs money. And that's what, and that's the whole issue, that when you have low economics, not low self-esteem, not low value, not low self-worth, no money, honey, shit changes. A person can give you anything. I remember I was a teenager, boy clothes like I am now, and went inside of tall girls and put on a size 13 spectator shoe, like I was Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. The man looked at me. I looked at the shoe. Perfect, darling. Now the flip side of being a low socioeconomic status and learning from your mistakes, I walked inside of Lord & Taylor's, no social etiquette, that you're not supposed to pick up anything. You simply tell the teller what you want and they bring it to you. It was Estee Lauder's knowing. And the woman said, $300 an ounce, and I knew to put it back down. Right? But you know what that lesson taught me? If you come to my home, there isn't a perfume that I don't have in my collection just because I wasn't able to purchase that one. Certain things interlocked. The first mental illness is being hungry, physically hungry, and that's what predators use when you're hungry. You'll do practically anything.
Did you ever think that ballroom would be to the point that it is now, where you're being celebrated for being who you are on a stage of so many people and audiences that came through, and that now for something that was underground, that we probably can't really say underground anymore because it has gone mainstream, but when you were deep in it, it was definitely underground. How do you feel now that we are able to be celebrated in it? Did you ever think that this day would come?
Yes, but I didn't know it would come in this manner because what I excelled in and what I am known for throughout the voice. Listen to what I'm saying before you attack it. Listen. It is not about my sexuality. It is not about my skin. It is not about shoulda, couldas, or wouldas. I say it again. Jesus ransom sacrificed his life so that I too may live. Reading the scriptures, I'm not interested in what pastor said, the deaconess said, the high priestess said. I go by what the scripture says. Every day that I wake up, I am reminded the God of my understanding is just like oxygen. I don't see him, but I need him to live.
I know that's right. I brought Junior a book for should I say her now? Junior from back in the day, so you go by all pronouns. Correct. Junior something to write down, because I think that Junior definitely has a story and has so many. I mean, it was an honor to just sit there and listen to see how you show up and how you took up space in those rooms, how you made sure that they were, that they definitely, they stayed, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but you have so many stories that I think you should be writing them down, and that you definitely, that we should get a book from you. And also, one other thing that I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned Pose being about you, and someone winning a Tony about playing a part that was you, but you were never asked to be in those rooms. Like, was you ever, like, did they ever acknowledge that this is you, or did you?
It was preconceived and it was true, so it worked out. I was bitter. Now I've learned through other experiences to be better and not bitter. There's something that Monique, the comedian, said with her struggle with the titans in theater. When you mess with intergenerational money, you're messing with somebody's livelihood. The $5,000 or $10,000 that I was supposed to receive back then, every residual time period, could have bought me a home. I could have invested in stock. I could have invested in real estate. But you gave me nothing. Absolutely nothing to work with. Which in turn, when you come to criticism or being devalued, that's why I can't fuck with ballroom no more. Uplift. When you look at my illustrious career in ballroom, everybody that I talked with and about, I uplifted them for their 15 minutes of fame, like Andy Warhol said. Girl, you can do it again. Girl, you can do it again. Don't do that, do this, try that. Another aspect. Another aspect. And back in the day, I had a Medicaid card that I could go get health care. Girl, go over there. Don't go over there. They know me over there. Go over there. Get your health care. GRID, the gay-related immune deficiency syndrome, where they wouldn't even allow you to be around them. I would be in my apartment waiting for my friend's expiration date so that they could be cremated. They wasn't going to be buried, but cremated, because there was no place for them to go. Cleaning up after them. And they will tell you, and I would be Lucy in the sky with diamonds, because that was how I was able to cope. We don't talk about those things. We don't talk about the healing. We don't talk about the fear. We want to get to a ballroom and talk about, oh, Miss Dean, the children don't see you. And I'm going to give you a ballroom instance that just happened to me this year. I go to stewards, I am bald, and I told the whole board afterwards. And you know, I'm Junior LaBeija, and I'm the icon, so I come dressed, and they put me in the honorary section upstairs, so I'm sitting upstairs, and I saw another icon. So I gets up and goes to greet the icon, to ingratiate them, unbeknownst to the icon that I'm ingratiating, that the people that he's around, we all drove to the ball together in a car. And I go over there and I goes, and this individual said, you ain't never been fab. You was never a fashionista. And you was on welfare half your life. Recognizing that the person was under the influence of the same drug that I smoked 27 years ago, I gave them, you're high. I'm going to let this go. That didn't change the fact that I was hurt that this motherfucker held this to hear, to say to me, for the purpose of what? That's no different. Yeah, that's no different than being a judge at a board. You are held in high regard to perform a duty allegedly because of your excellence in the categories, and you decide to ruin somebody's moment, not life, moment, because you enjoy them gagging. It's not that you was fair. You enjoy them gagging, that you want to go on the internet and watch a clip of them gagging. But yet, when it comes matters of importance, you don't hear nothing from you. So where's this big word that we use, community? Where is this wholesomeness? Where is this healthy? We have uplifted, being in this room, this podcast has uplifted our entire boardroom community to the level of intelligence.
Thank you.
Where's our intelligence? Where's our brilliance? Where's our emotional, mental, physical delivery that we are the curators of the world? Every beautiful thing on this earth, look real close, we're there. Everything that we have done, newcomers come and make millions and eradicate us. Housing, condos, interstate condos. We got to go through red tape. We want a 5-year background check, your credit score, your this, your that. But you force us to live in an environment, and if I touch your nerve, sister, take a pill. I cannot, and I do it now. I'm talking about what I experienced. You know, Gus, 18 weeks, going to the Mecca of money, smelling it, night after night after night after night after night. Had the opportunity to take an Uber every night, take a Lyft every night. But the reality of you pay for the Uber, you pay for the Lyft, and tomorrow morning you swiping a Metro card to go somewhere else. Where's the balance? Where's the balance?
I'm gonna definitely take a pill on that because I say that all the time. Like they want people to show up, and 9 times out of 10 it's at our own expense. And we're never given what we're actually worth. And the moment we ask for it, there's always somebody telling us that's too much.
Well, we thank you. I think that I'm so thankful for you,
Yeah, that's really
Icon, for you showing up and taking up space the way you do, for you being so intelligent, and for you being one of the ones who don't gatekeep or who doesn't hate. And I thank you for being a backbone for me during our time running the show because, like I said, it was a joy to come and for you to instill in me the confidence that I needed to continue to go. And especially when I came out the room, like you said, when you heard me singing in the room and what you told me that day, it made me carry on and it made me be able to carry my head even higher as I walked in and showed up in those rooms. And we appreciate you, and I think that it's great to have you on the couch with us today. I think that you're amazing, and I think that we need to protect jewels like you in the community. And I just want to say that I appreciate you, and we all appreciate you.
And I would say y'all are role models. Don't forget that. No matter what stresses life may face, let's end this breeze. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's for another episode of Femme Queen Crazy.
Sexy.
Ooh.
Good man.